And Iowa has Caitlin Clark, who's become this huge star. She's amazing, and she's getting all this attention, and some nasty press reporters are upset about it.
Did you see what just went down? Megyn Kelly, yes, the Megyn Kelly, has just unleashed a bombshell on the WNBA, and she's not holding back. She's revealing shocking details about how Caitlin Clark is being treated as if she's the league's enemy. Can you believe it? Her bold comments have thrown the entire WNBA into chaos, sending shockwaves across the basketball world and sparking a massive meltdown. Kelly didn't hold back at all, and now her remarks have put the whole league on edge. Let's dive into the details that everyone can't stop talking about.
Came out to say her own scoring record stands despite Caitlin Clark beating it because I guess they didn't have three-pointers when she was playing, which is just ridiculous.
Kelly held nothing back as she called out the WNBA for its treatment of Caitlin Clark, saying outright that what's happening to Clark is downright disturbing. Can you believe it? This isn't just some passing comment. Kelly's words carry real weight, and people are starting to take notice.
She's getting a lot of hate from people like that. Of course, Jamel Hill has weighed in, like a lot of people taking shots at her.
You're probably wondering, since when does Megyn Kelly get involved in basketball? And you'd be right to ask. She rarely wades into sports controversies. But what's happening to Clark is so extreme that even Kelly couldn't stay quiet about it.
She's been in the WNBA for 2 minutes. There's no reason to hate her other than the amount of attention she's getting and her skin color. I mean, would this be happening to a black Caitlin Clark?
No.
Getting the same amount of attention.
Here's where it gets intense. Kelly didn't just talk about rough defense or normal competition. She's saying some players are flat out targeting Clark with real aggression, calling it straight up abuse. And get this, Kelly claims the league is just turning a blind eye. Can you believe it?
And it's resulted in physical alterations on the court that don't get called as fouls, that the girls then deny were intentional. And Caitlin Clark always takes the high road. She never, points the finger, but it happened again.
But Kelly didn't stop there. She dug even deeper, connecting Clark's treatment to some of the bigger issues facing women's sports today. You've seen how Clark's been in the spotlight lately, right? Well, Kelly dropped a bombshell, saying this goes beyond one player. It's about a pattern across the league that needs to change.
Many black women inside the WNBA are resentful that this white woman came in and is getting all this attention.
Whoa, that's a serious accusation, and it's stirring up emotions everywhere. Kelly isn't just referring to fouls or physical play. She's alleging that there's a deep-seated racial tension brewing within the WNBA, and she believes Clark is right in the thick of it all.
People weren't going, Jake, because they were homophobic, racists. That's why the other girls resent Caitlin getting attention, because she's not black.
Now you might be asking yourself, is Kelly onto something with all of this? That's the million-dollar question. But one thing is clear. Her remarks are pushing everyone to confront the reality of what's happening in the league. Kelly claims that Clark is elevating the sport to a mainstream level. And if that's accurate, it seems like not everyone is thrilled about that shift.
These are the highest ratings in more than 10 years. And it is 100% because of Caitlin Clark.
Those are regular NBA ratings. Like if you get a couple million people watching an NBA game, you're pretty happy as a network guy. She is the Michael Jordan. Like I know you're not a major basketball
person.
I know. But she is the Michael Jordan of female basketball. Every single player in that league, every single coach, manager, janitor, anyone who has anything to do with that league should be bowing at the altar of this woman. She is transforming the sport into something mainstream, which is what the WNBA was set out to do, and I think it started in 1994 or 1995.
This isn't just some run-of-the-mill drama. It's a full-blown earthquake rocking the WNBA. And believe me, we're only witnessing the initial tremors. The aftershocks from Kelly's explosive comments are set to resonate for a long time. Remember that bruise Clark was sporting? It didn't come from a crazy night out. It was earned on the court. And that's just the beginning. Brace yourself for some of the most astonishing basketball moments you've ever seen. Though, spoiler alert, they might not even qualify as basketball plays at all. Now, you might be thinking, how bad can it really be? Well, let me tell you, it's far worse than you could ever imagine. We're not just talking about a little shoving. We're seeing actions that will make you question if some players have forgotten they're on a basketball court and not in a boxing ring.
And yet, since she's joined the league as a rookie, she's been abused. She's been abused over and over again by these other players.
Let's kick things off with that eye-blackening incident in the game against the Connecticut Sun. A player named DJ Carrington literally scratched Clark's eye with her fingernails. Can you believe that? And get this, not a single foul was called. Not even a whistle. It's almost as if the refs were tuned into an entirely different game.
At the end, it seems pretty obvious to me, intentionally scratches Caitlin's eye with her long fingernails. She denies it was intentional, but watch, there it is. Hold on. So she goes for the ball, and then look, she points her hand down after the play, after the ball is past this player from the Sun. And it seems very clear she bends her fingers into Caitlin's eyes. There it is. She could pull her hand away. She didn't. And Caitlin had a black eye, and it was not called.
But hold on, it gets even wilder. After the game, Carrington had the audacity to say, "I didn't even know I hit her." Seriously? How can you not know when you just scratch someone's eye? It's not like Clark was trying to play it cool. She was walking around with a shiner for days afterward.
All that was a lie, in my opinion. Phil Houston, Spy the Lie guy, would say all of that. She had all the telltale signs of lying. If you asked me, did you hit her intentionally? I'd say no. Nope, I didn't. She went right into convincing behavior. I don't even know why I would intend to hit anybody in the eye. That's what a bank robber says. A bank robber says, I'm an honest person. Why would I ever rob a bank? I have money. I have a job. A truth teller says, no, I didn't rob the bank. No. All of this convincing behavior and not a no and denial. This is obviously a liar, and I don't know this person.
But hold on, it gets even wilder. After the game, Carrington had the audacity to say, "I didn't even know I hit her." Seriously? How can you not know when you just scratch someone's eye? It's not like Clark was trying to play it cool. She was walking around with a shiner for days afterward.
But after a series of events where we've watched all season long and into the postseason, Caitlin Clark get abused and taken out. I mean, even during timeouts, people are intentionally walking into her, bumping into her, doing things mid-play and after the play. And if you don't know, Christine Brennan's so woke, I don't know how she ever sleeps. So this isn't exactly somebody coming from the Daily Wire or Fox News. So the fact that they're attacking her just shows you the WNBA continues to drop the ball on this whole issue. They got given the greatest gift of all time.
You might be thinking this is just tough basketball, but think again. The stats tell a different story, and it's not a pretty one. The number of fouls going uncalled in Clark's games is staggering. It's like there's an unwritten rule allowing her to get battered out there. Let's break this down for a moment. In basketball, there's physical play, and then there's what Clark is facing. This isn't just about playing tough defense. It's about players trying to intimidate her and throw her off her game. But guess what? It's not working. Clark is still out there dominating, which likely frustrates some players even more. This issue transcends Clark herself. It speaks to the entire culture of the league. We're talking about player safety, fair competition, and the very future of women's basketball. If this is how the WNBA treats its rising stars, what message does that send to young athletes aspiring to go pro? Remember when we thought this was just about basketball? Think again. There's a whole other game being played behind the scenes, and it's got nothing to do with what happens on the court. Now, let's delve into why some people are saying race might be the underlying reason for the stir Clark is causing.
That many black women inside the WNBA are resentful that this white woman came in and is getting all this attention. Nobody disputes that she's an amazing basketball player, but still they seem resentful and angry toward her.
So why are we even bringing race into this conversation? Well, it turns out there's a massive elephant in the room that everyone seems to be avoiding. Some are suggesting there's a racial dimension to all the backlash against Caitlin Clark. I know that sounds like a serious claim, but we can't just brush this aspect of the narrative aside. It's like a volcano that's been simmering beneath the surface, and now it's starting to erupt. Did you know that approximately 70% of WNBA players are black? That's a significant statistic, especially when you consider the level of attention a white player like Clark is receiving. It raises questions about dynamics in the league and how they might affect perceptions of players based on race. As we dig deeper into this story, it's crucial to acknowledge these factors and what they might mean for the future of women's basketball.
Unfortunately, there still is that stigma of against the LGBTQ plus community. 70% of the WNBA is black. A third of the players are in the LGBTQ plus community. I think that people have a problem with basketball playing women that are lesbians. Who cares? They are great athletes.
Now, you might be wondering, isn't this all just about talent? Well, it's not that straightforward. Some critics are arguing that Caitlin Clark's popularity goes beyond her on-court skills. They're bringing up concepts like pretty privilege and white privilege. Can you believe that? Sunny Hostin even suggested that Clark might resonate more with a broader audience due to her appearance and race. This raises some serious questions about the narratives surrounding her rise in the WNBA. Are people more drawn to her because of societal biases rather than just her undeniable talent? As we dive deeper into this discussion, it's important to unpack how perceptions of race and appearance could influence the support or backlash athletes receive in the world of sports.
In an unusual moment of honesty, explained why they still can't stand her within the WNBA. Here she was not long ago.
If Caitlin Clark is the vehicle that will bring this sport that I have loved so much and so long to little 5-year-old girls playing in Harlem, I say yes, bravo. Yes. I have no problem with that. I do think that there is a thing called pretty privilege. There is a thing called white privilege. There is a thing called tall privilege. And we have to acknowledge that. But I do think that she is more relatable to more people because she's white, because she's attractive.
But it gets even more complicated. There are claims that some black women in the WNBA are feeling resentful toward Caitlin Clark. They believe that all the attention and praise she's receiving should also be shared with black players who have been in the league longer and have made significant contributions. It's as if Clark's success is illuminating some deep-rooted issues within the league that have long been overlooked. This situation isn't just about individual accolades. It highlights a larger conversation about representation and equity in women's sports. The tension around Clark's rising star status is forcing everyone to confront these underlying dynamics and question how success is measured and recognized in a league that should celebrate all its players equally.
Caitlin Clark's, quote, race and her sexuality played a role in her popularity, and she is symptomatic of how black players are erased. Erased.
Check this out. Jamal Hill outright stated that Clark's race and sexuality factor into her popularity. He believes her presence in the league highlights how black players often get sidelined and overlooked. That's a pretty bold assertion, don't you think?
The league, that they're sort of just in their anger at her because she's straight and white and a little prettier than some of the other girls.
That is literally what they're saying.
Here's where it really heats up. Some people interpret the hostility toward Clark as a backlash to her being a white woman in a league dominated by black women. It's as if her success is igniting all these complex emotions and tensions that have been simmering beneath the surface for a long time.
They were homophobic, racists. That's why the other girls resent Caitlin getting attention, because she's not black or...
So, what does all of this mean for the WNBA? It's prompting everyone to confront some really challenging issues. This isn't just about one player anymore. It's about race, gender, and who garners attention in the sports world. Let me tell you, pretending these complexities don't exist won't make them vanish. It's high time for the league to tackle this head-on, no matter how uncomfortable it may be. So there you have it. We've unraveled the full story behind Megyn Kelly's bombshell about the WNBA, and it's a doozy. But now you're probably asking, what's next for Caitlin Clark in the league? Well, let me tell you, this drama is just getting started. Can you believe the WNBA might actually need to reevaluate its policies over this? Sports analysts are suggesting the league may need to implement new rules regarding player conduct and even revamp its promotional strategies. All thanks to Caitlin Clark's influence. But here's the kicker. While some might expect Clark to shy away amidst the chaos, she's doing just the opposite. She's made it crystal clear that she will continue to compete at the highest level, no matter the circumstances. Talk about determination.
As follows: if you don't rock with Caitlin Clark game, you're just a flat-out hater. Stay far away from them people, please. Right on.
What does all this mean for
Caitlin
the
Clark and
future
Angel
of the
Reese have known
WNBA?
each other for years.
One thing's for sure.
In fact, they've been
this
rivals
controversy
since high
isn't
school.
going anywhere anytime
There were some
soon.
intense matchups.
We're
and
on the
games
brink of a
between the
whole
two
new
early in their
chapter in
careers.
women's basketball.
We had the biggest
and
viral
Caitlin
moment
Clark
of the
is right
entire
at the heart of it
NCAA
all.
tournament in 2023.
So buckle up, because this ride is
Thanks
just
to
getting
these two
started.
ladies.